So what did you mean by see other people? Oh shit, new romance manga just dropped. Much like War in Europe, romance in anime has long since slipped into routine cycles of storytelling. Three scenes strung together with Oblivion level NPC dialogue, a guy internally saying, "Wow, females do be strange," and finally the greatest of seductive lines to seal the deal in the true Shakespearean love that forms by the second episode. Yet trust me, I'm not here to talk about conveniently falling into breasts, the totally not a date episode, or the spluttering epileptic fit of anime girls when confronted with any sort of physical contact. I'm here to talk about winners. And losers. Shipping races, which are extremely unfair and unbalanced, are the collective subplot to almost every anime in existence. To join, you simply pull up a seasonal anime chart, scroll till you find the highest rated show with the largest number of women on the cover, choose appropriately. Then, armed with vitriol and patriotism, dive into the weekly episode discussions. Here you dominate your opposition, ignore mods and exalt your chosen semen demon into the vastness of the internet. Each thread, Discord server and channel are battleground where you can stake your flag and screech until banned. Every episode a fresh casualty report, a resupply of gifts and stitches to bombard the enemy with, ever marching onward to prove your fictitious paper waifu is the superior being. Admission might be free, but Ritalin is extra.
Hamburger.
However, discussing how hardcore shippers are basically sports fans with ASD is another video entirely. Let's talk about the reality of love in anime. A fantasy of escapism and endless, yet highly specific purity. Anime girls are much like deer frozen in headlights when it comes to love, waiting to be smashed by the cheapest of Honda Civics or the thickest of Dodge Chargers in equal measure. To start with, regardless of setting or situation, our sweet romance targets will, without fail, have zero real experience in the field of love, despite looking like, well, anime girls. My personal headcanon for all anime is that a dystopian shadow government seeking the perfection of the human form long ago enacted a wide-reaching eugenics program to select for the preferred hair color. So naturally, the most popular idol in school never held a hand in her life. Veteran mecha ace never learned where babies came from. Social butterfly with extreme situational awareness. Superior understanding of all things love, but melts when it's herself put in the hot seat. In short, Japan's hyper-virgin idealism is pretty much industry standard, one furiously enforced by a cadre of lonely men with access to the internet and a postal service. God save the writer who implies his thick vampire mummy who's over 1,000 years old ever looked at a man with impure thoughts, because the fans surely don't. Horny idealism is a rising political identity that defines the expectations of anime fans and VTuber simps perfectly. Sure, go ahead and stream all you want about how furiously, utterly, and completely backed up you are in your fruitless search for sexual release for hours on end, but the moment I get a whiff of a human male in a 5-kilometer radius of you, I will destroy your career and make you wish you'd identified Taiwan as a sovereign state. This concept assures that, even in the darkest of shows, the core beats of romance remain untainted by the presence of realistic rivals for our MC, a role left to a colourful array of clueless victims, who to battle it out to decide which of them shall take home the sweet man nectar. Harem anime is the easiest to bully here, being a solid contender for the one subgenre of anime with no standout exceptions to the rule. It's just a matter of drawing several girls, then giving them romantic tunnel vision to accompany their inability to make independent value judgments. Then, with our innocent girls prepared, we simply introduce our main man, Normie-kun, gravitational anomaly and slayer of women who simply can't know better. But even something set up to succeed can still be enjoyable, right? Particularly harem romance where the focus is on who will win rather than giving a damn about the particulars of how or why. The fun is in the moment-to-moment sweetness and seeing if we can call the race before it's won. But, like I said before, this race is unfair. More than unfair, it's practically rigged. A good book draws you in just enough to forget that the heroes are probably going to win. A writer goes out of their way to make stakes realistic, threats believable, and happy endings a more tenuous possibility. Though shippers on the losing side will violently disagree, screaming how there's always a chance, the emergent pattern of victory across anime isn't particularly hard to spot. Then, as self-absorbed intellectual trash consumers that we are, Unburdened by the cognitive blinders of backing one sports team over the other, can we identify the girl who wins with a high probability? Naturally, yes. We could create a complex learning algorithm, combining trope behavior, breast size, brightest Twitter likes, hair color, and fetish gradient to more accurately predict this. But I have a much simpler solution, one which entirely motivated this baseless rant. One question: is your waifu the first girl to appear in the story? Then congratulations, she's just been awarded a spot on Teen Mothers of Japan. See, unlike the story of the hare and the tortoise, speed is indeed everything, and marathon runners simply get the rope. Overblown argument in the first meeting, accidentally fell on them after falling from the sky.
For a brick, he flew pretty good.
I'm terribly sorry, but your fate has been sealed since you've made eye contact, and you must now proceed through 3 seasons and 18 additional volumes of manga before committing your hand to be held forevermore. The habit of anime openings to favour the new girl appears methodology of storytelling means it's rather easy to spot the designated winner. Though, I would be remiss to not mention that any girl the main character has a pre-existing and current awareness of will, naturally, lose automatically. To be a childhood friend is a stain and a curse, an existence whose sole purpose is to pathetically flounder as the main character falls deeper in love with literally anyone else. This trope isn't alone in anime, but it infests here as readily as any metastasized cancer, an all-powerful trait that screams victory for its chosen heroine, relegating the characters appearing within the same episode, or even moments later, to the rigors of an uphill battle. Oh, and don't even get me started on the girl the MC states he has a crush on in the first episode, essentially worse than a childhood friend in the scale of loss conditions. But perhaps the most depressing role is left to the poor girl introduced in the second season, new, exciting, and relegated to the job of pushing the real couple to confess at a fireworks festival. Though, much like Manic Pixies, complete domination is still beyond these Usain Bolt-based waifus. Not all girls win by virtue of appearing first, as I'm sure I'll be hearing about in the comments. Just a significant portion. It's even less when we break down anime into its collective subgenres, like slice of life, horror, or pure couple romances. A few clever shows even get around the whole designated winner by simply endorsing the true harem end, or remaking the show with every conceivable ending.
Fear no danger, shun no labor.
But still, we cannot avoid the truth that most shippers desperately do.
The game was rigged from the start.
After sitting around developing a unifying theorem of love in anime that boils down to caveman pattern recognition and novelty seeking of booba big and new booba best, I must admit this is a rather disheartening conclusion, as well as scarily close to a 2D version of an incel manifesto. Each season, the new hot waifus and harem shows burst onto the scene. Armies are raised and battle lines drawn, and millions discover a new fetish to tide them over till the next season. But for me, I fear I can no longer patriotically rush no man's land. A doubt, an expectation now festers within me. Forbidden knowledge best left where I'd found it, merely hovering at the back of my mind instead of the forefront. Perhaps this is the inevitable consequence of spending too much time within a medium, as unchanging in its certainty as awakening to true sentience upon your 7th birthday. I can see now that ignorance is indeed bliss, and believing in this system, or ignoring it, makes life much easier, if not more enjoyable. In the same vein, the 3 Billy Goats Gruff would have happily gorged themselves on their shitty grass if they'd simply never looked across the river. Yet truly seeing the naked man on the other side of the proverbial glory hole is different from blocking out my ears and pretending it's Masato with a particularly rough hangover. But to sum up, once I was a young boy enthralled with wonder and hope. My love of discovery with each new show only matched by the quickening beat of my heart whenever a new paper waifu would but grasp it. Yet time has passed. The boy is dead, and in his place is an oversized man-child arguing with Discord mods on obscure servers about why Clannad is shit.
Something wrong, Patrick?
And the last vestiges of wonder have been crushed beneath cold understanding. The lesson I've learned from all this is simple. Don't delve too deep. Knowledge is the poisoned chalice that ruins childhood dreams, and I have drunk so deeply that, sadly, no amount of AA meetings can save me. To those of you who have reached here, congratulations on withstanding my schizoid posting. Smash like and subscribe for more of my rants as I slowly slip into anime inceldom. As was asked, I upgraded my audio. And I have been told that I sound like flat cardboard against a colourful background, so I'll have to work on that. Tune in next time where I promise an even more unhinged rant about how anime girls only like bland nice guys, and the shape of the secondary heroine's eyes genetically preclude her from being chosen, and that she should just give up and invest her time in pipe bomb creation.